Hello guys, Dhananjay here and welcome back to a new video. So I have used both the RTX 2060 Super and RTX 2070 Super with Ryzen 3700X and to be precise, Inno3D's cards. So in this video, I'm going to share my experience with these cards, which card should you go with for a particular build, and what was my experience with Inno3D cards as well. Without further delay, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about the main part. Both the cards have RTX in their name, meaning both these cards support ray tracing. If you are into that, if you play, let's assume, game like Battlefield 5 or few other games which support ray tracing officially, then these cards will be great for you. But do remember that when it comes to ray tracing, the performance is going to go down like by a huge margin. If you are getting, let's say, 120 FPS in Battlefield 5 with RTX 2070 Super, it is going to come down to 70 FPS when you turn on ray tracing. 70 is me being a little bit optimistic in my opinion. Even though these are first generation ray tracing cards, you will obviously notice a difference between shadows with ray tracing turned on and ray tracing turned off. Not just shadows, but reflections, lighting will be different and the overall experience will be different. I can't really say that ray tracing means that the gaming performance and the visuals will be way better as of now. But there is a hope in future, and I'm sure in future games, when optimized ray tracing games are launched, it will be much better experience than what it is right now. It's better than normal gaming, but it's not like you are missing out on something if ray tracing is not turned on. Now let's talk about the pricing. RTX 2060 Super is available anywhere from 31,000 rupees to 35,000 rupees. The Inno3D RTX 2060 Super card, which I am using right now, is priced at about 32 to 33,000 rupees depending on where you are buying it. RTX 2070 Super will start anywhere from 41,000 rupees to 45,000 rupees, and the Inno3D graphics card is available for about 43 to 44,000 rupees. Difference is of only 10,000 rupees, and 2070 Super obviously has its advantages. So if you want to get a system and you have spare 10,000 rupees, get the RTX 2070 Super. Like, obviously that's the obvious advice, but I have another advice. If you're building a PC, this is a benchmark value that I'm going to set, which is 1 lakh rupees. If you are building a PC below 1 lakh rupees, get the RTX 2060 Super at least. And if you are going above 1 lakh rupees, like let's say 1,50,000 rupees or 1,30,000 rupees, then get the RTX 2070 Super. I built my own PC with RTX 2060 Super and the budget was about 1,50,000 rupees. And in that video, I specifically mentioned that save 10,000 rupees on this option, on that option, and get the RTX 2070 Super. I'll give link of that video in the I button over here, so do watch that if you are interested. Now let's talk about the gaming performance. When it comes to comparison between RTX 2060 Super and 2070 Super, when it comes to 1080p gaming, both these cards are fantastic. Great gaming performance with both the cards. There is usually a difference of 15 to 20 FPS between RTX 2060 Super and RTX 2070 Super, like in almost all the games. In few games, the difference was just about 10 FPS, but that's okay. But when it comes to ray tracing turned on, RTX 2070 Super is a much better card. You can expect 60 FPS with majority of the ray tracing supported games. So if you are into 60 FPS gaming, like in all the games always, then 2070 Super is the card for you. But if you are just looking at 1080p regular gaming, then RTX 2060 Super is more than enough in my opinion. For all the systems below 1 lakh rupees, I think 2060 Super is going to be a great choice, a brilliant choice in my opinion. Now let's talk about the most important part where I spent most amount of my time. That's video editing. With RTX 2070 Super and RTX 2060 Super, both the cards were good enough, first of all. Second of all, I use only Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects and like Adobe applications only, and this was my experience. If you use let's say Resolve, then RTX 2070 Super will perform much better because Adobe applications cannot take advantage of GPU as much as the Resolve does. So Resolve ke liye get the 2070 Super, avoid 2060 Super if possible, because Resolve will be able to utilize that. With Adobe applications, when it comes to timeline performance, I did not notice any major difference between 2060 Super and 2070 Super. The main bottleneck that I found was the 16 GB of RAM for some odd reason. Even though 16 GB of RAM was running at 3200 megahertz, as soon as I upgraded from 16 to 32 GB, there was a noticeable difference in timeline performance as well as rendering performance. While editing the video, as soon as I upgraded to 32 GB, I noticed that almost every time the RAM usage is about 20 to 22 GB. So 16 GB RAM in my opinion was little bit of bottleneck. If you are into serious 4K editing, you have to get 32 GB of RAM. I mentioned this in my 1.5 lakh PC build video as well, that 32 GB RAM is must. But the difference between 2060 Super and 2070 Super, I feel like both of them are very close to each other. When it comes to gaming, I can definitely say that RTX 2070 Super will always perform better than 2060 Super. But when it comes to video editing, the difference is not that huge in my opinion. If your budget allows you to, go with 2070 Super. If it doesn't, then don't go. 2060 Super will do just fine when it comes to video editing if you have 32 GB of RAM. Both the cards come with 8 GB of VRAM, and that is good because you get more VRAM to play games like on a higher settings, and that's possible. When it comes to Inno 3D cards, because both the cards were made by Inno 3D, my experience was fantastic. When it comes to RTX 2060 Super, the car never overheated. I never faced any heating issues with this card. It's just fantastic. It is an easy recommendation from my side, the Inno 3D RTX 2060 Super, because it is usually about 1000 or 2 to 3000 rupees cheaper as compared to other counterparts. When it comes to RTX 2070 Super, I had the triple fan variant, and in extreme scenarios, which I also faced with RTX 2060 Super, RTX 2070 Super was blowing a lot of heat as compared to RTX 2060 Super. Obviously 2 fans against 3 fans, RTX 2070 Super has a better chip, more cores to handle and everything like that, but it's not overheating. The performance was always delivered. And I want to mention one important thing. I know that we did not talk about benchmarks, gaming benchmarks to be precise, in a detailed manner. That's because I shot these videos and the gameplays that I showed in this video back in November. I do not have access to 2070 Super anymore to make the detailed comparison, and this will be the last video that we are doing which doesn't have a lot of games and detailed benchmarks. If you have followed my smartphone reviews, you know that I like to be more technical. In all upcoming future graphic card videos, we will be more technical. We'll talk about detailed FPS, benchmarks and everything like that. This will be the last video basically. The issue is that I did not have access to these cards, and I just shot few games only in my limited time that I had with this card. So it was an issue, but don't worry, in future cards I will add more benchmarks, proper gaming and proper I repeat, I do not plan on making theory videos on graphics card when I can obviously do benchmarks and stuff like that. And I guess that's pretty much it for this particular video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and press the bell icon so that you will get notified next time I upload a PC related content on my channel. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you for watching.